All right, good morning, folks. Welcome back. What we got in here? All right, Illy, what's up? What's going on? Good morning, Jeff. What's happening, man? Good morning, Braveheart. What's going on? Yes, sir. We here. We going long on swords. Good stuff, guys. Man, let me make sure I put this on X real fast. Let everybody know we're in the building real quick. Appreciate you guys as usual stopping in. Make sure you guys hit the like and the subscribe and the share and all that good stuff in between. Having a day today, man. Having a day. Shout out to anybody that picked up this one that's on the screen I got here. Mentioned yesterday on live stream. Mattel, toy company. All right, in case anybody picked this up, got the $20 calls on a swing play. Gonna let these ride out into Christmas. Looking for $23. $21 short-term possibility, $23 long-term possibility. All right, so be a nice, easy money. Hang on, just let it ride up type of situation, man. Let me make sure I put this on X. Give me 1 second. Appreciate everybody once again stopping in. We're still alive. Got one more day on this whole this game that's going on over there. All right, we alive. One more game. Still loving the tracks though. It's just old Nate Dogg where I want to be. All right, gotta have these play in the background. Gotta give respect where respect is due. All right, hold on 1 second here. 3-1 is hard to come back from. All right. All right, give me 1 second. All right, cool. Let a few more folks get up in here. We'll start discussing what's the topic at hand with the major gap up we had last night on GME and this beautiful movement we have going on with AMC, which we have been discussing and watching. If anybody again picked up these calls on Mattel, still waiting for American Airlines to start to ramp up, and you got to pick that one up as well. Also, SMTC was one we talked about a couple days ago. Still swinging onto those in the meantime. Let's see here. You talking about AI pumping up? AI is close. AI is close to breaking out. Give it a couple more days. It'll get this cross up, and you'll see AI at about $30. Not hopefully it works out where it's before the situation actually happens with the election, because election is looking wild, bro. I'm talking about some crazy numbers can start happening. We'll discuss that a little bit as well. What SPY's looking like, what the VIX is really telling a real story. We were having a conversation about that in the Discord this morning prior to me getting on stream with you guys here. And what everything is looking like right now is absolutely crazy. All right, it's something to pay attention to. But it looks like we're about to rip, and I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Let's give it a couple more seconds here. But once again, I really appreciate you guys stopping in. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe, all that good stuff in between. All right. Hit a share, all that good stuff. And, yeah, we'll get into it. All right. So we're looking at this AMC. Let's start with AMC. All right, AMC, almost a 4% day. I like to see it. All the levels are still hitting. All the levels are still being respected. All the crosses are still playing themselves out. My target for today, $4.73. All right, remember that number. And when you hear it, when you see it touch, remember where you heard that. All right, give me a second. A second to remove some of this brush tool stuff. Very important. We did some play-by-play stuff early in the Discord. We went over this with some interesting stuff. But we'll redo it here just for conversation's sake of conversation here, because I think everybody should at least be aware what looks like could be panning out. But again, we want to make sure we are in a safe spot. And we want to prepare ourselves to hedge accordingly if we need to. Not specifically regarding AMC, but regarding the entire market. All right, so we'll talk about that in a few here. Hey, Truck, good morning, peace and blessings, my friend. All right, Illy Bang, everybody that's up in here once again. All right, let's pull up GME. GME with a big move in post-market yesterday, and in pre-market hit $24. All right, congratulations again, anybody that's bought calls. You know, those are ramped up or is in the green right now on their shares. Shout out to my man J. Cole, who's up in here as well. Is watching. Finally in the green. Is in the green now on GME on his shares. That's a beautiful feeling, man. And just watching that just ride up. That's gonna be amazing. Let's see here. What do we got here? All right, GME got this posted up. Short term, I need GME. GME coming back a little bit. They're trying to fill some of that gap that was created, but it did get that breakout of the downtrend from the $80 move from the other day, which is exactly what we knew was going to push this thing pretty hard. Let's go shorter term, or at least have this up and running. Let's see here. All right, 1 second here. Quality 144. There we go. There you go. So here is the retest back here towards about $22 and change on GME. All right, we want to see a $23 hold. The money line was that 23.57, which was actually tested and broken today. We got rejected here off a fib roughly around 24.50, and now we're just looking for the continuation to happen. We need to at least hold this area, but in my opinion, you're going to continue to go up. I don't really see much reason for us to not go up until we get to about $25. $25 is going to be a major resistance on GME. Do watch out for that. Positive Insights, what's happening, man? Welcome back. Do watch out for GME to get toward that level. If once we hit 25.25, I'd be starting to be in a spot where we need to be not concerned, but at least be paying very close attention, because 25.25 is a major area to be involved in or to be at, because this has been a spot that has given us issues for a bit of time. All right, for a little bit of time. So 25.25 is the next target, but so far we've broken all of these money lines on GME. Big move yesterday. Once we broke this downtrend, which is the one from the $80 move in post market back in May, you got this extra push, and now you're coming back to basically retest the top side of the wedge. Let's go back to the 15-minute so you can at least see that clearly. You're testing the top side of that wedge. This dotted blue line is the downtrend from the $80 move back in May. All right, so you're just basically testing that. It's pretty normal for it to do moves like this. Once you broke the money line again at 23.57, you got a second wind, broke you through, which brought us to about 25.50. And again, you're retracing to retest it. It most likely just reaccumulate. Again, I don't believe the move is over anywhere by any means. Reaccumulate and then get ready for the next move back again towards $25.25 would be my next target. If you break that one, then the fun begins. All right. Next money line is at $27.56. But then you got this entire gauntlet of issues to deal with. High level time frame moving averages that are going to come in your way. The 2-day 400 moving average, the 5-day 200 moving average, the 1 month 50 moving average is going to be big, which is about $27.39. And then the money line is at $27.56. Once you cross $27.56, there's really not much to worry about. In my opinion, you're going to continue. But for right now, we're at money line number 2 still, $23.57. That is level 2. Level 3 or DEFCON 3, we want to call it DEFCON. I like that. DEFCON 3 up there at $27.56. Once you start getting those numbers, I think we should really start seeing what we want to see. All right. But so far, we got GME already worked out. I mean, GME looks amazing. It's already got all the crosses I want to see on this thing. I have no reason to think that this thing is going to go down at any point soon. All right, no time soon, in my opinion. Yes, you'll have retracements. It's going to be natural. But as far as going down, yeah, I don't see it, guys. In terms of AMC, which is pretty much, I think, what everybody is really watching for right now. We see all the movement happening on GME. We see how that's going down, how things are playing out, I should say. Not going down, but how things are playing out. And AMC is a more interesting one. I mean, there's a lot more things happening on AMC. Yes, we did get the breakout of this downturn. We all know that. You guys got the video, which is like 45 minutes long. There was a part 2, but I don't think it's necessary at this point. So it's just time spent to do it. All good. Either way, we have to be concerned a little bit here with where we are. Not in a bad reason. Not for anything that the stock is doing. We'll talk about that later on. When we talk about the VIX. We'll talk about the SPY. We'll talk about where we are. However, right now in this particular spot, it looks fantastic. Let's keep up the good work, guys. We're doing excellent. We had the platinum cross up take place on AMC on the 1 hour time frame, right over here. All right. Once we've all talked about this level, or these levels that are again being respected. All right, they're very accurate, as accurate as I can get them based on time spent. It's not just the hype train; it's really based upon real time spent on this particular stock. We talked about every single one of them. 420, 426 was the big one. The move up to 450 that played, rejected perfectly off the 450 line that I have here on the right hand side. The creek line was at 452. You broke that today, and you continued. Right, one tested, 2 times tested. Broke through today, and now you push up 3%, almost 4% at one point. My next creek line target, 4 hour creek line, is at $4.73. Once you start breaking above that, we should really start to get that move. I mentioned yesterday I want to see us at about 489 on AMC quite soon. All right, I would love to be up in that range roughly before or prior to earnings. It seems like everything is leading up into it. Right, everything is leading up into it. Now, we do have increases in volume, which is an excellent thing to see. Finally, right, this volume is much bigger than all the previous days. So it's something to watch as well. I'll remove the drawings for a moment so we can just look at the volume. Notice the volume is much higher as prices continuing up. That's a great sign. Very, very good sign. So let's continue to have that going on. Let's look at our targets. So now our next target, again, $4.73. It would be amazing to see that by the end of today. It's possible, but at very best case scenario, I want us to hold up above 452. If we hold 452, in my opinion, we should be on our way leading into earnings. The hype train should continue. The earnings hype train should continue, and then we should continue on with this entire move. This whole entire move, now, like I mentioned before, is a breakout, a retest, a breakout of this major downturn from Judd Zern, retest, and we're looking to get above here, so 473 towards those higher numbers. 514 would be the next creek. Once you're above $5, this thing continues to roll. Like that's it at that point. However, we do have to keep in mind how earnings typically likes to play out. We know the history of AMC. It can go up on earnings, day of, drop on earnings for about the next 2-3 days before coming back up and then rocketing. All right, that's happened on Ape release. It's happened pretty much every single earnings we back tested. It's been the exact same thing, unless they've released earnings early, which has been the latest craze, on these stocks for whatever reasons, AMC, GME, so on and so on. But this is what we're dealing with. Annie, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning. We're back again. But right now, in terms of what we have going on, AMC does look fantastic. It's the breakout. It's the move we want to see. It's increasing volume. We have the higher low on the weekly. Everything's right with the world. As far as this is concerned, right now, in my opinion, it is still in trajectory to move up over the next several weeks. However, I want to make it very clear. All right, we need to go in and look at the market. All right, I want to point out the VIX. All right, I just want to point the VIX out. We're going to have this conversation real quick. Not trying to scare anyone, but it's something that we need to be cognizant of at least. All right, and this is the VIX. We keep talking about the VIX. And I got to keep mentioning because we have elections coming up in just a couple of days. We've talked about the higher lows and a potential breakout on the VIX, probably to about $35. It's significant. It's pretty significant. And the reason I would say that is because we're up on the VIX again, 2%. I have a target of $35 in the VIX. And the reason I have this set up here is because the VIX looks bullish going into into the election. Very bullish. Right? It looks like it wants to go up. Like, it doesn't look like it wants to come down. The election is on the 5th. We talked about November 29th, and we talked about January 6th. The weekly, gold has been going up like crazy. Hard assets been going up like crazy. And I'm watching the VIX here, about to get this particular cross. You guys know I like to talk about the platinum crosses. I mentioned this a lot, the creek lines, all of that. You can see obviously a clear wedge here. And this particular line, or this cross up on the weekly, all right, is a very major cross to take place. Let me fix that real quick. All right, the weekly is about to have a momentum cross, a platinum cross up to the upside on the weekly chart on the VIX. And the best way to get an idea of what future performance looks like is look at past performance, right? That's the name of the game. It makes sense to at least get an idea of what could potentially happen based upon history. And looking at that, notice this line approaching the creek. You have the last time that cross actually took place, all right, was back here. Give me 1 second. That cross to the upside took place was on November 22nd, 2021. All right, November 22nd, 2021. And you got a platinum cross up on a weekly. That same week, the VIX went from a low of about 17 bucks, shot up 104% within a 2-week period. All right, we're about to get that exact same cross again in about another week, which oddly enough lines up with the election. All right, 104% will put us roughly around that $35 mark, very similar to what I have marked off now as the next target on the VIX. From that point on, not saying this is going to happen, but from that point on, the VIX went to top out at about 122%, which also at that point started a downtrend on the SPY. All right, I want to go back here and discuss November 22nd. Remember that specific date, November 22nd, 2021. All right, here's the SPY on November 22nd, 2021, right here. All right, we had on that day on the SPY, we had a move from the SPY. That same week was roughly a 3% drop. The following week ensued, and we had roughly about a 5.5% drop on the SPY following that move or that date. Just similarities, right? I mean, there's also November, there's the similarities, but also a lot of different things are happening on a macroeconomic perspective, from a macroeconomics perspective. Things are changing in terms of how the world is moving, whatever. But just looking at the charts at this point. After that, you started the bear market. Now, I'm not saying we're starting a bear market, just want to be clear about what's happening based upon what may have probably started it off. We're watching gold go crazy. We're watching a lot of different things. Hard assets going crazy. Obviously, real estate going crazy. Things like that. Is it something that may be leading to this? It's a question to ask. Now, I want you to notice this as well. This, I believe, the change in this, we talked about it this morning in Discord. We talked about the change potentially being around the rates, the hard changes in the rates at that time, back in November 2021. If anybody has any other information on that time frame, what actually took place back then. But I believe we talked about it being the quantitative tightening that was happening. Quantitative tightening on the rates going up, soft landing, all that crazy talk was going on back then. But this caused a sell-off all the way to SPY's lows of the SPY from about 400 bucks all the way down to about 350, about $100 loss on the SPY at the time. Just interesting to look at. Now, I want to go back to AMC because we're watching AMC as well. If AMC, we all remember this pennant after the large run up back in June 2021. All right. This pennant, we were all watching this bull pennant potentially looking to break to the upside. It did not break to the upside. It broke to the downside. Look at the date when it broke to the downside. November 22nd, 2021. I don't know. All right, I'm just, again, throwing it out there just so people are prepared. From a macro market perspective, if the VIX moves up and has a reaction the way it did back then, and it starts up again now, where we are with this potential turn up, we have to be prepared for what could potentially happen to a stock that's in this position where it's looking to want to turn around. It could have an effect. It can go to the upside. It can go to the downside. I can't say exactly. Right now, it looks bullish to me. However, the timing of this stuff, you got to pay attention to it. So just want to at least throw it out there. November 22nd, 2021 was this entire this bull flag or bull pennant that we had at the time broke down. And we had the next 3 years of downside on AMC. Right? Similar situation with GME. They all broke down at that time. That November 22nd, 2021 date. And the VIX is exactly when I showed you a moment ago. That's the exact date that the VIX broke to the upside and had that big move when we got the platinum cross on the VIX back on November 22nd, 2021. That cross is again about to occur within a week, all lining up around the election. So I'm expecting a large move to happen, and if it does happen, not saying it'll start a downtrend in the market, but it's something to at least be concerned with while we have our stocks looking to do what they're looking to do. Just want to throw that out there. Just some thoughts that are going through the mind, some conversations we were having in the Discord earlier this morning. But so far, so good. All right, don't mean to gloom and bring doom and gloom to the market or gloom and gloom to the conversation, but we want to at least look at everything just to be on the safe side and prepare ourselves. Right? AMC still looks good. Can it be an opposite situation where we have negative beta? When the market's going down, we finally start going up on AMC. Very possible also. All right, same thing with GME. Market's coming down, AMC goes up, GME goes up. Maybe that's the situation, but something is gearing up. All right, so just want to be mindful of what's happening on a macro scale to then look at our individual stocks to see if there is some correlation or if there's something that we need to be prepared for. But it's good to at least be in the know than be in the dark, guys. So just wanted to share that with you guys, and hopefully that helps one or two decisions out there. But so far, so good. AMC, GME look fantastic. Let's go. It's moon time. Let's do it. But at least want to pay attention to this stuff, guys. All right, cool. Got that out the way. Once again, appreciate everybody stopping by in the stream. You guys could be anywhere else in the world. Here with me, totally appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple other things while we watch everything continue to make their moves. Yeah. Just one more point, GME. Look at GME. All right, let's just go back. Look at this date, November 22nd, 2021. Remember this pennant on GME? Same thing, November 22nd, 2021. From there, GME went all the way back down to where it went down to till we got this next squeeze. So just again, I digress. Do your own research. Look at this into detail if you'd like. And if you have anything to look into it on or anything you want to discuss here, definitely post it in the chat. We'll go over it, guys. All right. All right, Oaksway, good morning, Geeko, what's happening? Yeah, J. Cole, Apple, right? It's coming down. It did come down, right? A little bit? Yeah, that would have been the entry. Perfect entry on 230. So good stuff, J. Cole. If it does get that push up, if they're gonna run it up, they're gonna do it off 230. They're gonna run it off 230, man. That's the spot. But it probably would line up with a creek line. All right. And you got the bounce. So here's the creek on the 45-minute. And they got a reaction. All right. Quick reaction. And then they'll see what you do from here. But so far, so good. So Apple, I believe, has earnings coming up. So something to watch out for coming up as well. All right. John Vincent, good morning. Stuck on stocks. What's happening, my friend? All right. In May, Reddit. RDDT, GME, AMC all went up together. RDDT just sprung the squeeze into, in my opinion, they all go to the moon. It's very possible. They're all in that same boat, right? The proverbial basket that they talk about on these meme stocks. They're all, and all of it, GME is the leader of all of them, right? Whatever GME is doing, they're going to be affected by it. All right, it's all the same companies that are short on one, they're short on all of them. Right, so whoever is short on that basket, they're affected. The stocks get affected, all of them. So, I mean, again, because they happen to be retail darlings, so they know how to get money out of your hands because all we do is buy calls and hold long, or look to just buy the dip. So it's like, hey, they can make money off the backs of that. So I mean, it's a bad situation. I mean, don't get me wrong, but they know that we're not going to sell, so hey, they make money in the meantime. And they find ways to hold us down until we do sell. Like you have tokenized shares and obviously all the manipulation tactics that they use in order to, keep the stocks down. All right, it's just part of the game. Sucks, but in the meantime, they just leverage it as much as they can. All right. Hey, no problem, man, Geeko. It's necessary. It's necessary. We can't keep blinders on too much, right? We've been down this road before, right? We need to at least have a perspective that we can see rather than just someone talking, right? Or just saying what they're saying. And then again, I advise everybody to go in and do their own research as well. But conversation is one piece, but actually being able to see it on a chart and plot it and compare it and actually see it is more important than anything. All right. I think it might have been you, Stuck on Stocks. You posted on my I think it was underneath my Twitter post. You mentioned it, and I shared it. I reposted it. You know, men lie, women lie, but charts don't. I totally am with that. That's exactly my thesis has been since day one, since I've gotten on the stream stuff or whatever, or even on Twitter. That's all I talk about. Everybody can say what they say, but the charts is what I want to see, right? That's if it shows up somewhere in the charts, let's talk about it. But other than that, it's like you have a concept. You don't have actual real proof. Show me something, all right? If you're gonna show me something, we can start to talk about it. But other than that, you can show me filings, all that kind of, but it has to show up on a chart. It has to show up on a chart somewhere, or you know, if you can show me flow or something like that, cool too. But it has to show up on a chart. There has to be sentiment behind it. So I totally agree with that as well, man. All right. Anyways, SMTC, not SMTC. Oh, SMCI. SMCC is a play I'm holding, right, for calls, right? But SMCI, I have $46 calls on SMTC. Those went up real nice yesterday. But SMCI, SMCI, yeah, talk of the town right now. Outside of GME doing the thing, SMCI. So it was a case against the situation here. All right, I mean they've been questionable for like the last couple of weeks. All right, been questionable ever since that drop off from all-time highs. But it's having an effect, and it did have an effect last time on NVDA. So NVIDIA is in a situation where it's trying to hold on to that 140, but it's getting hammered right now because of the same reasons around SMCI. So SMCI had the platinum cross down on the 4-hour up here at $80, which is what caused a sell-off. That was based upon the news that came out with them, and it's been a tough road to try to get back above it. Hindenburg closed their shorts. What are we talking about here? Rule number one, volume before price. Rule number two, charts don't lie. Only people. Exactly, bro. I totally agree with you, Stuck on Stocks. The run of $72 was then reversed on November 21, is what you're explaining. No, Oaks. So to go back to AMC, that was the end of the bull flag that was on AMC. I guess nobody is really watching this. That's the SMCI situation. I just wanted to cover it, but as far as AMC is concerned, it was a bull flag after the 72 run that ended and started to drop off on November 22nd, 2021, which is all around when this VIX shot up and the entire market started to drop based on quantitative tightening on the market. All right, that was when they were trying to get inflation under control after COVID. So basically the end of 2021, if you look at the chart on AMC, the end of 2021 is where that takes place. Hindenburg closed their shorts. Okay, yes, Geeko's talking about SMCI. All right, got the Hindenburg shorts report for reporting bogus data, and that's why it tanked. Yeah, it was a lot going on here. I mean, we could have probably used the chart to explain it. It had ability to go up, but I mean, volume was very low throughout this period. I mean, I wanted to see it actually recover, but I mean, they've been questionable for a while. You got a platinum cross up back here on the 1 hour, right? Crossed up and gave you a 13% push, but volume started to wane off. And then from there, kind of double topped in a sense and came back down. Another platinum cross up, a lower high this time. And then you started to drop. So all of that just came out at the same time. The news, it was fraudulent, supposedly some fraud that was going on with that company. And yeah, it's having an effect on NVIDIA, but it's not having an effect on the market, which we all know NVIDIA is obviously still up there. But again, we have a lot of things happening with the big boy earnings this week that are still holding the SPY up. The expectations that are going on with the SPY, it is still in a range. We've been range trading now for over 2 weeks. The one thing we got to pay attention to, we have been making higher lows every single day for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Just higher lows every day. You have a bounce, pretty much almost a perfect bounce off the creek line in the 1 hour. Very close. And it's been bouncing up. All right, it's just trying to get, I won't really be convinced about the SPY's move until it fully breaks and holds above, which you just got to break above 583. We need to hold above 583, and then we're talking about potentially going to that 589 level we've been talking about here on the stream. But we obviously first need to break all-time highs currently. And then from there, we're talking about potentially pushing to 589, going into the hype on earnings. But then we got to see. It's very questionable next week. I mean, I don't really have a lot to really look at or really jump into long term because of where we are. It's just all going to be news based. Obviously, we got this whole thing with SMCI. It's affecting NVIDIA, but the market's still pushing up. We have some earnings coming up today, which are pretty interesting as well. Find out which ones we have exactly today. I believe Apple is definitely one of them. Let's see. He was on that run. Yeah, that a lot of. I think everybody in this stream was on that run. we were all up a lot on that run back in 2021. I think there's not one person that's on the stream right now that did not take part in that 2021 squeeze and held on. All right, and held on the entire time, and we're still here. All right, this is the point. We all basically came from it, regardless of what we knew we were doing or not. We all probably were involved in one way or another on that squeeze, and probably continue to buy in on the way down. That's probably what we all did. All right, so because it's so many fake outs on that damn chart. Wrote it all, yeah. Same. So we all the same. We all in the same boat, Oaks. Let's see here. Hey Pierre, what's going on, man? Welcome back, my friend. Oh yeah, stock on stocks. Yeah, 481. If we start breaking 481, my target is 489. In general, once you start breaking there, it gets pretty serious. But that can also, depending on what news comes out with AMC, it can also be supply. All right, so we need to watch that. We need to pay attention to that very closely. But right now, I'm waiting for the next platinum cross up to happen on AMC, which is the 2 hour. All right, 2 hour platinum cross takes place here probably Friday. All right, so Friday will be the next platinum cross, November 1st. That most likely will send us to about 480. All right, 480 will be the next target, 489 or so. And then from there, we're talking about 518, 514. Hey, Steve, what's going on, man? All right, welcome back. Pablo says, how's Starbucks look? Uh-oh. Let's find out what Starbucks is looking like. S-Bucks. Let's find out. Starbucks is right at the clip here for a potential breakout. So they pre-released poor earnings last week and is still holding up for earnings to call tonight. Yeah, that is. I reduced my position on it. I still have it just in case it decides to run. We saw what Starbucks can do. We know what Starbucks can do. We also know where it is on the chart. So let's take a look at Starbucks real quick. All right. Let's see here. So Starbucks has earnings coming up later on. Let's find out what we got going on with them. I gotta remove some of my brush tools. I get brush happy. I am. I'll tell you. When I start going into my explanations, I had all these brush tools all over the place. So gotta make sure I clean those up here and there. All right. So here is Starbucks 23-hour platinum cross up over here. Still has that look. So let me go and clean this up. Open this a little wider here. 1 second. And we'll just go to the weekly real quick. All right, so Starbucks is right at potential breakout. If we can get a hold and break above, so everyone's clear on this. We're going to make this red so it stands out. And we have a green. All right. Weekly breakout on Starbucks is potential possibility here over the next little bit. All right, we have this downtrend. Made this downtrend, tested a couple times, once, twice, 3 times. It's a little clearer. Boom. 3 times, 4 times. We actually technically are holding above it right now. The line I want to see us get above, and actually we're slightly below it. We're inside of it at this point. We had a couple breakouts, 2 times, about false breakouts, once, twice, for the past 2 weeks. One thing I see here, earnings is today, or this week, today. And we're starting to trend up. We still have a high volume push on the last week. Volume has been pretty high. What's this? Court fines Google $20 quadrillion. Decakillion. Oh boy. All right. Russia. All right. Yeah, that push on volume here says that it wants to go up from a weekly perspective. All right. They tried to drop it. It immediately was bought up by high volume last week. Good sign. We're right at the downtrend breakout potential. I would love to see it clear about $98.64. From a weekly perspective, it looks good. Let's go to the daily. All right. On the daily, slightly lower volume to the downside push. That happened for a moment. And then we have higher volume starting to come in here going into today, which makes sense. It's earnings. Like, it makes sense. Look at this high and tight flag that we have here off of this flag pole. I think this was when they changed the CEO or something like that. And all of a sudden it shot up like crazy from $75 up to about $89, $90. You created another wedge situation here. You're holding above the top side of the wedge on the daily. Great sign. That breakout, retest, and looks like it wants to potentially continue. If for whatever reasons we get bullish news or whatever the case may be, if they don't try to fake it out. I mean, you said they're pre-release earnings, right? Oh, we'll see. If it was poor earnings as well. We're going to see what happens as far as this is concerned. Well, let's go back to, let's see here. Go a little closer in time to get an idea. I like this spring. I do have to say I like this spring, but notice where it bounced on the spring. The creek line. Perfect bounce in the creek. This probably would have been the best idea to enter. The downtrend almost broke. This was about October 23rd, so a few days ago. Broke it downwards, popped right back up. Now holding the top side of the downtrend, creating another smaller downtrend on the shorter time frames. Let's go even closer. All right, we work from the outside and work our way in. That's just the best way to get an idea of what's really happening. You have this downtrend, you have this uptrend. So you have another wedge on top of the wedge that you actually just broke out of with a spring. This looks like reaccumulation. This looks like a shakeout. This looks like it wants to push back up. In my opinion, based on everything I'm seeing here, if you get a hold above 98.64, this thing's going to go to $100, $105. Let's look even closer. He's going to announce a fresh outlook. Okay, well, we're looking good then. I like the way it looks, man. Overall, lower volume, pretty much thinning out volume in this trend line, or in this. Let me erase some of this real quick. In this pennant. So far, what I can see is that Starbucks wants to push out. If they have good forward guidance, that's another thing to be concerned with on the market setup here, or what they get, or what they give out on the earnings call. That could be a situation that plays out as well. All right, if you get this hold, I'm looking for just a hold above 98.64. If you get that, I'm watching for $100. From there, I'm watching for 105. Is there an expected move on earnings? Anybody have that information? If you have it, Pablo. What's the expected move on Starbucks? I mean, last earnings they went wild, but it was, if you can find that out real quick if you get a second. All right. Yeah, I have $98.64. A hold above that breaks the downtrend, and then from there you're looking at 100 to 105. All right. Let's see here. That'd be nuts. But I definitely like the spring so far. That looks really good for a push up. That just tells you that buyers are still here to hold this thing up, or believe in it longer term. All right, let's see. Other than that, guys, yeah, we're looking crazy out here, man. So we have that. We also have Apple earnings. 462 so far on AMC. GME is recovering nicely. See, the fact I like GME because of the fact that it's just doing this on its own at this point, right? There's no like, earnings fears to hinder it. It's just doing this based upon where it is. AMC is just like apprehensive, right? I got to keep looking at that because it's just the only questionable spot right now because of the earnings situation. All right. Let's see. Stuck on Stock says I run 2 line moving averages on 6 hour, 3 daily moving average, 875 daily moving average. Those are the 581 and over triggers on algo buy program. Okay, good stuff, man. Now you gotta have your strategy. If it works, apply it to your own thing, man. Once it works out, if you see it, repeat it over and over again. But that's good stuff, man. He said that triggers an algo buy program. Okay, that's cool. If the banks start crashing, can we see a margin call? I mean, I don't know. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like it's in a spot where right now where some things can happen next week. I can't call it. That's why I wanted to point that out in the beginning. If you just popped in at the beginning of the video, we talked about the VIX and the potential move that's going to happen next week on the market. But it's all lined up with election. So there is going to be a major event of some sort. I just don't know what that event's going to be, what it's going to look like. But based on the chart, that's what it's saying. Let's see here. But so far, so good. So that target that we mentioned on 473 on AMC is about to hit. It's coming up very soon with this creek line touch. All right. I mean, it's getting really close. 464. Let's see. Seems like the same pattern is growing on repeat with repeat and growing on AMC or GME. Yeah, good stuff. Stuck on stocks. That's what you got to do. Nah, hey, if you got connects like that, bro, use them. That's good stuff, man. That's inside information, my man. I like it. All right. JP Morgan, guys. Hey. Let's see here. Start crashing. Can we see a margin call? It's possible. If banks, I mean, what banks? Let's see what the bank sector is looking like. I mean, this is something to question. I like that question, man. But again, we got to look at it from a couple different perspectives, right? Of where we are on these stocks, and the way the market is looking like. I mean, the VIX. I'm using for specific reasons. It's questionable. Let me look at this. Let me look at some damn bank stocks. Now you got me thinking about that. How are they looking? What's the bank sector look like? All right, shout out to again anybody that picked up Mattel calls now are up. This is a swing play. These calls are up 33%. And we called this out yesterday morning on stream for a swing for a month out, going into Christmas. If you guys picked those up, congrats, you're looking good. Also, American Airlines, they're up right now about 4%. So gonna give those some time to do what they need to do for a month out. Also, SMTC looking real nice as well. Starbucks, watching that close. Let me take a look at those bank stocks real quick. Bear with me 1 second while I pull up my bank stock portfolio set up here. Defense, wheat stocks, healthcare, AI stocks, precious metals, banking. Here we go. Banking stocks. How's PayPal looking? Anybody invested in PayPal? I haven't bought PayPal. I'm not in on the play, but I was curious how the PayPal looks. PYPL. I mean, it had opportunity. I mean, I didn't get in on it way back when. I think it was like $50. All right, Pablo saying 5.8 to 6.2%. Okay, on Starbucks. So that's the average expected move on that. PayPal dumped here. What happened with PayPal? Must have been earnings or something. No, earnings is today. They have earnings today? No. What's this? Decline share price. Okay. Susquehanna. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, Lucid, bro. Lucid is terrible. Lucid has a look. I'll look at it again, but it broke down last week after that earnings setup. It had a look to break out. It was almost ready, but they rejected it at 390. I was looking for a breakout of 390. Wait, I was in that play. I wound up getting sparked on that. Well, let me take a look at it in a second here for you. Let's see here. It didn't get the break. Let's take a look at. I'll look at Lucid now. I'm just watching PayPal, but I don't really see anything real scary on these bank stocks here. Nothing right now in the moment. I mean, who knows? But we do have the fears again around what's happening with the rate cuts. This time it's the other way around. Last time it was rate hikes. Now it's rate cuts. So fears are all over the place. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. But the market keeps going up because of big cap stocks and big earnings and so on and so on. So we'll see. Let's look at Lucid for my man here. Lucid has the AMC look right now. Look at these candles. Again, this is the anemic candles. I didn't have breakfast this morning candles. That's what this looks like. These don't even look like candles anymore. Alright. So Lucid, I don't know for whatever reasons, is looking like the way AMC looked for a long time. But Lucid had a look for a while. Like it was getting ready to break out at 390, and I was in on it, and it just broke down. Obviously earnings played in, came downwards. Where's my lines? Did I erase my lines on Lucid? I did erase them. That sucks. I'd have to redraw all of this. I had a whole thing on Lucid. Alright, well, Lucid didn't work out. In terms of volume, I mean, that was a big spike in volume here, but it's hasn't really found a way to recover yet. From a bottom perspective, new low, you're like you're getting close to probably coming back towards new all-time lows. If it doesn't hurry up and start to pick up steam soon, I don't really see it reversing just yet. I think it'll probably come back for a double bottom. I don't see a reversal yet. Double bottom, basically the bottom end here would probably be roughly about $2 flat. $2 flat. Let's see. 230. That's close. Oh, actually a little lower than that. 229. So it's very close. I mean, this is weekly range, 52-week range, 229. So it looks like you're gonna come down to probably touch that. I don't think you're gonna get a higher low. Not yet. But if you lose that line, forget it. This thing will start to tank. Probably go to $1. That'd be wild. Let's see something real quick. Yeah, if you don't hold 229, you're probably gonna come down to 150. That's highly possible. So it would have to hold here, or else this is gonna look really bad. Like when you have these throwback into wedges, because this is a descending broadening wedge. Right, that's the play I was looking for a potential breakout. It never got the breakout above $4, which is what I was looking for. You get these wicked sell-offs from a chart perspective. You get these wicked sell-offs and drops. I have to redraw this because it's gone now, but it basically was this here. I was playing this move for the breakout off of this move. Very similar to AMC, right? I mean, not exactly, but very similar in this regard. And I was here with it looking for a push and break out of $4 at that time. Got rejected. If it was AMC, they would have halted it. But in this case, we got rejected. It came down, and obviously we got earnings to support the further down move. And now we're looking to probably test 229. If it does not hold 229, you will just come down to, again, 150, and then probably try to buy back up. All right, that'll take some time though. This thing is in the spot where it's moving like AMC moved for a long time. That anemic kind of no volume, nothing really happening with it. But this midline should line up somewhere around there. All right, this is obviously a respected line here for quite some time. Could go lower, could go lower than that. But I would venture to say the 1618, 150-ish, $1. I mean, they really hammered this thing down. I remember very clearly this part of it. We all probably saw it back in 2021. It was a lot of conversation on Lucid back at that time. It was around when AMC was going. And if anybody's OG enough, you guys probably remember that guy, Avi. He was big on that. All right. I don't know if anybody remembers that. If you guys are really, really down with the movement back then. If you were down, you would know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was all over it. But yeah, he was big about the Lucid deal. But then I guess he was bashing AMC for a little bit. Then he stopped talking, and you don't hear about him anymore. But yeah, well, I think he got out. Oof. But the whole Saudi Arabia thing, they were big on this particular stock. And I guess they stopped being big on it. So their money supply went down. And this is where you're at. But yeah, I'd be definitely looking for, if you don't hold that 229 level, watch for a potential push down, which would be a spring, bring you right back up to potentially break out. But that would be the ultimate location, in my opinion, to buy at, if you were looking to buy long on this thing. Not a dead game though. You remember Avi, right? So Pablo been around. He been all up in this thing too, man. It was wild at that time too. The space calls and the this, and oh my gosh, bro. It was a time. It was a time, man. But you know, the OGs remember this stuff for a while, way back. And he was big on this stock. But you gotta give him the credit where credit's due. I mean, as far as looking back at it now, right? When we talk about AMC, he was one of the guys I was talking about it flipping back here. You know, he said he sold around like $50 at the time. And he had the understanding of what we just talked about a few minutes ago, the lower high at the time. And he sold at like $50 or something like that, if I remember correctly. He had understood that a lower high means you go down, you're eventually going to go back to where you started. Similar situation we talked about here. You have a higher low, we invert the chart. All right, a lower high. If they flip it, this is a lower high. So you're going to come down. Like it would come down. The way we're looking at this from the other perspective, this is a higher low. We know that. I just inverted the chart, flipped it upside down. A lower high says you're going to come this way. All right, based on everything, you got to come this way. All right. You could do this. It's possible. Your favorite movies and TV shows are on YouTube. The concept really, if you're really watching this thing for what it is now, based on where it's coming from and where it is at the moment, yeah, I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's going to happen. It could. But again, like I mentioned before, we got to watch everything. Watch the market, watch this VIX stuff, watch everything else. But, you know what I'm saying? Do this real quick. And that's what we're looking like over time. That'll be nice. Sooner than later, hopefully. Backed up toward this line here, about $9,500. All right, that'd be nice. But we're in the first sign of life in order for that to potentially happen. That has never happened on any other spot in AMC's history. Well, since we've been watching it. A higher low besides up here, which is a fake out. And this is like a triple bottom into Judge Zern. And then pretty much all been downside from there. All right. So we'll see. All right. WW might be worth looking at. They're going to have some big moves. WW. Let's take a look at WW. Appreciate the call out. Let's find out. Let's see. They got a move today, looks like. Oh, these cheaper stocks, bro. Let me see. 5%. Next earnings report in 7 days. So they got earnings coming up. Interesting. That's big volume, man. Very big volume push. Bro, I mean, hey, you got to give him his credit. Now let's say he came back now like, oh, hey, I feel like buying back. I feel like buying down here, right? I mean, hey, it would make sense for him to do that based upon his approach. Yeah, he got out on time. He could have took all that profit, come back and buy now, buy 10 times, 1,000 times more, and then ride it back up if you wanted to. Just by understanding that. So gotta give the man his credit where his credit is due. But you know, a lot of people got stuck in the headlights, you know, deer in headlights type situation at the time. All right, John. All right, so let's look at WW. What do we got here? This has only been around with WW International. Let's see. Looks like it's a little bit of a step up. That definitely is your end of trend. I mean, you can't deny that that's a reversal candle. Right? That's it. Well, this was actually a reversal candle. Sorry. So the first one that popped up here that told you that this is the end of the trend. All right, was this one here? That one. Let's move in a little bit. That told you that there is no more downside. High volume in that range after no volume to the push down, and the trend 1 time, 2 times, 3 times tested as a triple bottom. All right, off of this move on thinning volume, long downtrend. Let's fix that. Long downtrend breakout. Like, you can't deny that. All right, gotta look at it for what it is. Got this pop, boom. A lot of times it might want to retest it, doesn't have to, but from a very small scale situation you're dealing with, trying to get above and hold above this area for another move down. If we look at the at this area here, see how the volume looks on the shorter time frames. See what's going on, why this thing's crawling so much. Let's find out where are your SMAs. Yeah, you're looking like you may want to start to recover very soon. Notice how on the 4 hour you're holding above the, what's this one? That is the 400 moving average in the 4 hour. You're looking like from this point, you might have ended your wave 2 and you may push up. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. Stuck. You look like you might want to start pushing up from this range. I got to give it a minute or two, but it will probably start to do it really soon. So if you end your second wave, you got your third probably coming up in just a little bit. Got a rounding out here. Let's see this. Let's remove. Yep, it probably is going to get ready to start very soon. So you break above 116. Looking for your next push to about 130. So it can play out. If you look at it even closer, you can even see that you have that's with indicators. You have this little setup happening here. Another downtrend. Right here. All right. That's that. You have your Eve and Adam right here. You have your resistance line right here. And it's probably about to break to about 116. Once it breaks 116, you'll see about 130 on this thing. So this could continue going, man. Let's look at volume real fast to make sure. Yeah, but definitely looks like it's ready for the next push in just a little bit. So that 5% that's up today, it'd probably be like 10 or 15 in a little bit. Yeah, but I could see in terms of like long term or longer term. I'm not saying in one day. Let's find out where you're going. I mean, this thing has opportunity. 194. You have a creek line in the daily up here, 443. This will take time, but in terms of turning around, it can go up pretty. It can go up pretty nicely. I'm not gonna say it can't. It definitely is. This would be your first established higher low, right? Kind of what we just talked about a few minutes ago. So from a long-term perspective, you know, if it's established as a higher low, just like we talked about on AMC's case, yeah, this can keep going for a while. I mean, it obviously has a point of control all the way up here. 19 bucks, 9 bucks. The creek line's all the way up here, 17 bucks. 200 EMA, 200 SMA is around $10. Like, this looks very viable. Obviously, first area you want to start getting above is about $3.50. But not bad for a 400% move if you get to about $4 or $5. I mean, that'd be nice. Can't get mad at it. But it's a good spot, man. Definitely a good spot. Good catch, my friend. But that volume pop is really what you wanted to see. Those two volume pops are really what you want, because those will tell you that this is the end of the downward move. It's now time to start accumulating this thing. And as you know, we've talked about the recovery zone. All right, let me remove my drawings for a minute. We've talked about a couple different times the recovery zone, which is your 30 moving average on the weekly. You're below it right now, but you did get that pop above it, which squeezed it. And you want to get back above that cleanly. You're waiting for the 10 to cross above the 30. Once that 10 across the 30 happens on the weekly, it will just continue to just keep going. Very similar to Carvana, to every stock we've talked about that has that same move. So watch out for that, man. But this looks good. Good catch, my friend. I don't know what this company does, consumer services, but if you want to go long on it, doesn't look like a bad idea from a chart perspective, my friend. All right. So, lunchtime. I'll be on the mic pretty much from like 9 o'clock to about 12, like 3, something like that, talking between Discord and here. So I'd love to chat. I hope you guys give me energy to keep coming back as usual. And I see that Putin's out here about to fine Google $20 quadrillion decakillion for blocking their content. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, Weight Watchers. Oh, okay. It looks like World War I. Just kidding. Nah, Weight Watchers. Okay, well, look at it from this perspective. We got summertime around the corner. Or we can look at it from this perspective. A lot of folks eat a lot around the holidays. So, yeah, holidays means excess poundage. So, meaning a lot of folks probably going to start their New Year's resolution to lose a couple pounds, meaning Weight Watchers will probably start going up. I mean, you look at it from that perspective, maybe we got a little something going on here, you know what I mean? Look at it from that perspective, you know what I mean? But now it looks like there's definitely some time on the clock here as far as Weight Watchers is concerned. All right. They don't seem to be going anywhere. 2002 introduced to the market, so about a 20-year span. That's big volume too on the monthly. Yeah, that's big volume, bro. This is gonna go up for a while. It'll recover itself. Not saying it's gonna go to the moon or anything like that, but it's gonna recover for a while. If I look at it now, actually look at it again. Let me just might as well chart it because it looks interesting. There's your downtrend. I move the Hydra. Boom. Here is your top side. And what does this look like? It looks like a broadening pattern. Alright, looks like a broadening pattern, which just looks like the end of the broadening pattern. So with this being the case on the monthly time frame, let's fix this a little bit. Looks like more of a spring that hit. Questionable. Was this a spring? Yeah, it looks more like a spring. So this looks like a broadening pattern from this perspective. Let me just clean that up. Alright, in this case, you would be, yeah, this looks like a broadening pattern. So you have an A, B, C, D. This probably not. This is probably too short. A, B, C, D. Okay, let's start kind of from here, because this would actually be the first sign of the third touch. So it'd probably be somewhere like here. That makes more sense. Counted too early. I mean, they're respectable lines, but counting it a little too early. Something like this. Alright, so if this is your A move, B, C, D, E, whoop, E, partial decline somewhere around 22, run up 279. I'm just saying, I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not saying this is going to happen. What I'm saying is it's a possibility. So from this perspective, when you look at it like this, I mean, you're obviously going to run into resistance around these areas, $6 or so, but it is something to be noted, all right, just to watch that particular pattern, because it does play itself out over and over again. Here's your midline around here, about $4 and change, like we mentioned a few minutes ago, to potentially touch about $6, $7. If you break it, you go to 9. You start breaking this downtrend, it gets fun. But it, you know, you got to give this time. It's probably, at this point, it's a long-term hold if it continues to track this way. Doesn't have to, but who knows, man. There's so many different opportunities out there. But January is diet month, absolutely, bro. Yeah, it's that megaphone situation, absolutely. So something to watch, man. Something to watch, but it's a good spot. It's just that volume is telling you it's over. It's time to go up now. All right, both of these volume pops. This could be, if at very least, a nice 300-400% play on shares alone. Right, if you get an idea of how long it takes for a move to happen, right, which you can use by daily range. You can go leaps. You can do all types of stuff. But I'd give it a little more confirmation time to do that. Still a little early. It might be, yeah, definitely might be worth going some good money on it. A couple K, 5K. If it goes $400, $4. You know, that's a 4x return. You'd be up about 20 G's, 15 G's profit. Not bad, not bad at all, my friend. Good way to look at it, man. But that's how you got to do it. This is all you need to look for. It's very, very straightforward. Very straightforward. All right. But good stuff, guys. But anyways, we're going to continue watching this stuff, man. Appreciate everybody once again stopping into the stream. You guys could be anywhere else here with me. Totally appreciate you guys for all of it. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. In the meanwhile, going to be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. You know where to find me. Let me say peace to everybody in the room while we watch these things happen. Good money on GME, AMC as usual. Watch the market. We got everything happening next week. We have elections happening next week. We got all this stuff happening. Heads on a swivel, guys. Overall, that's the number one thing. Bitcoin at new all-time highs. Gold just keeps going up, and Apple keeps going up. Earnings going on this weekend. A bunch of stuff happening. All right, so eyes on top of your heads. And Pierre, once again, shout out to you, man. If you're still holding on to EV Go, EV Go, bro. It's been the play, man. Everybody watch EV Go. But we were looking at this thing since $3, and it's freaking at $9 right now. So 300% play. Good stuff, guys. Other than that, guys, I will get ready to go here, but saying peace to everybody in the room. Let's do that now. Who we got up in? Illy, Jeff, Braveheart, appreciate you guys. Bang, Truck, Positive Insights, Drift, Annie, J. Cole, John, Geeko, Oaks Way, appreciate you guys. My man, Stuck. All right, Stick Up Kids, Stuck on Stocks, man. Appreciate you. John Vincent. Who else we missing? Pierre Grinding. Definitely appreciate you. Pablo. Appreciate you. Steve Wright. My man from across the seas. Who else am I missing here? I got everybody. All right. Annie. Appreciate you stopping in as usual. All right, folks. Don't do options, just shares. Oh, all good, man. You're even safer. I mean, plays like this, finding the bottoms, watch for volume pops, and signifying end of trend, and then you go from there. Very good book. I would, if you're just doing shares, I know you guys see your direct connects with JPM and all that good stuff, man. But a good book, always good to educate yourself on top of that. Secrets on Reversal Trading. All right, Secrets on Reversal Trading. Remember that, the title of that book. That will give you a nice insight, especially if you're doing just shares, you're not playing the short side. that is a nice one for long-term buys and stuff like that as well. All right. So hopefully that helps out. Appreciate it again, everyone, once again, on spending time together with me today. You guys take it easy for the rest of the day. Do your thing. Keep the conversation going. If you're not on, follow me on X, definitely do that. Follow me on X. My link is in the description to follow me there. Check me out. Also, if you're interested in checking out the Discord, link is also in the description. Love to have you up in there. We do some plays, do some conversations before I get on stream with you guys here. Go on more in depth there. And also teach some of the strategies that we use. Actually, pretty much the majority of the strategies that we use for the platinum strategy in order to catch some of these plays in advance. All right, guys, so check that out. Link is in the description of this video. Love to have you there. And also, we'll catch you guys tomorrow going forward. All right, let's continue to make this happen. Y'all take it easy for the afternoon, all right? Let's look at GME one more time. All right, good. Peace. See you guys later.
Around and